Good afternoon and welcome to the City of Tempe Housing Authority quarterly meeting here at the Tempe History Museum in the community room for February 13th, 2020. I'd like to call the Housing Authority meeting to order. The first item on our agenda is our call to the audience. Audience members have up to 3 minutes to address the City Council. If you would like to speak on an item, please fill out a speaker's card and give it in the back of the room, and please hand it to our city clerk, and I'll call your name when it is your turn to speak. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address the City Council regarding the City of Tempe Housing Authority meeting? Could you please get my attention? No one? I'm just kidding. With that, I'll close that portion, and I would like to move on to item number 2, which is to approve the City of Tempe Housing Authority meeting minutes for October 17th. And before I do that, I would also like to recognize our resident and our Housing Authority board member, Mr. Jack Drummond. Jack, thank you so much for being here. He's going to be participating in the discussion and our vote this evening. And Jack, is there a motion regarding our approval of the Tempe Housing Authority meeting minutes for October 17th, 2019? It's been moved by Jack Drummond. It's been seconded by Robin Arredondo Savage. Councilmember Savage, any comments, or is there, it's been a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion does carry unanimously. Next item is item number 3, is provide the Housing Authority Governing Board with an update on the month ended January 31st, 2020, an update on the progress of the 5-year Public Housing Agency Plan, and the update on the proposed administrative plan changes. And I'd like to ask Levon Lammy, if you can please come forward. Levon? Lammy. Welcome.
Good evening, Housing Authority Governing Board. I'm Levon Lammy, Manager of Housing Services for the City of Tempe. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to seek approval of discretionary policy changes made to the Tempe Housing Authority Administrative Plan, to update the Housing Authority Governing Board on the activities through January of 2020, and to update the board on the progress of the development of the 5-year agency plan. In reviewing the discretionary changes for the administrative plan, the first changes relate to our waiting list management. On bullet point 1, the highlighted wording has been added to this section. The PHA will not maintain a separate waiting list for project-based vouchers. The on-site property management of the complex will maintain the waiting list. Currently, we have one project with project-based vouchers. As the rule is right now, we're required to work through our entire waiting list before we're able to place a family in the unit for that specific complex. With a site-based waiting list, this will significantly speed up the time that we're able to get a family into that unit and selected. The second change is that the PHA may open the waiting list as an individual jurisdiction or may choose to collaborate with other PHAs for a collaborative multi-jurisdictional waiting list opening. Currently, there are multiple jurisdictions within Maricopa County who are in the process of planning to open their waiting lists. We had been looking at some economies of scale as opening as one regional waiting list. Number 1, participants are able to be on as many Housing Authority waiting lists as they would like to be. So this gives folks the ability to sign up for multiple lists at one time, and a little bit less confusion, we believe, because there will be one place to go to sign up for a waiting list instead of 6 or 7 different jurisdictions. The remainder of the plans are regulatory updates, PIH notices, HUD policy guidance, and of course spelling corrections and other unsubstantive changes. The preferences are also looking to be updated. This is additionally a discretionary change. The first preference with 200 points would be that the PHA will preference individuals and families who are currently living and or working in the City of Tempe. Preference 2 is a regulatory preference that the PHA will offer a preference to a family who has been terminated from its HCV program due to insufficient funding. So in the event we ever had to let families off the program due to a lack of funding, they would be one of the first families brought back on when we did have available funding. The third set of preferences relates to the mainstream program for non-elderly individuals and households who have a disability and folks who are coming out of homelessness. In order to qualify for this preference, you must be one or more of the below: transitioning out of institutional or other segregated settings, at serious risk of institutionalization, currently experiencing homelessness, have previously experienced homelessness, and currently a client in a permanent supportive housing or rapid rehousing project, or at risk of experiencing homelessness. The fourth preference update relates to the bulk of our specialty programs and our work with Care 7 and the HOPE programs, in which we will offer preference to families that include victims of domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, or stalking, or for folks who are homeless who have either been referred by a partnering service agency or consortia, or are seeking an emergency transfer under the Violence Against Women's Act from the Public Housing Authority's public housing program or other covered housing programs operated by the Public Housing Authority. In instances of VAWA transfers, we immediately bifurcate the voucher, and that family jumps the complete waiting list and moves into a separate unit. In that, we also work with Care 7 and HOPE to identify those and provide the appropriate services. The applicant must certify that the abuser will not reside with the applicant unless the Housing Authority provides written approval. However, we will first assist families that have been terminated from the program due to insufficient funding, and then we would assist VAWA families. So as a financial update, we have received estimated full calendar year funding for calendar year 2020. Our housing assistance payments budget is currently prorated at 99%, and we are anticipating that that will remain the same once the final budget comes out. Our administrative fees are currently prorated at 80%, and it's anticipated that that will remain the proration for the rest of the calendar year. This year is the final year of our 5-year agency plan. We are coordinating the work on the 5-year agency plan with the work on our 5-year consolidated planning process for the CDBG and home programs. We have completed the analysis of impediments to fair housing choice. We have also completed a multi-jurisdictional collaboration to seek public input for individuals and families who would be eligible for our programs. We have had our last public meeting and public input session for the agency plan. We are currently finalizing the needs assessment, and we are currently finalizing, once we finalize the needs assessment, we will be able to finalize our 5-year agency plan and the goals and activities that we would be fulfilling there. As far as our programming budget goes, this is strictly for housing assistance payments. This does not include any administrative fees that we may earn. The Housing Choice Voucher Program's budget authority is $10,101,000. Our HUD-VASH program, which is the program specifically earmarked for veterans, has a budget authority of $68,000. Our Mainstream Housing Program, which is for individuals and families with a non-elderly member who is disabled, has a budget of just under $500,000. We did receive a second allocation of Mainstream vouchers, so we now have 28 and 21 voucher allocations for a total of 49 units. Cumulatively. Our Family Unification Program has remained steady at $299,000 for a total voucher subsidy of HUD-administered vouchers at $10,931,418. We have had our Family Self-Sufficiency Programming renewed. That also has a budget authority of $68,000 to work with families who are currently on our programs in order to gain self-sufficiency so that they are able to move off of housing subsidy programs. Additional programming that the Tempe Housing Authority operates is the Bridge program and the Bridge 2 program that we operate in conjunction with behavioral health for individuals who have either serious mental health or general mental health issues. Those have been renewed at a combined total of $500,000 and 50 vouchers between the two. We are continuing the Home TVRA program, which is allocated at 43 units. It's currently full with a budget authority of $453,000. So that's an additional 93 units and $953,000 in budget for housing assistance payments. As for the affiliate nonprofit for the Housing Authority, that has been in full operation for just under 2 years at this point, but we do have our first full year of rental activity on units. The affiliate currently has 31 units in the nonprofit, that most of which are rented out. We do have 10 one-bedroom, 15 two-bedroom, 2 3-bedroom, and 4 5-bedroom units. In reporting on calendar year 2019, we had gross rents in the total of $224,333 for the year. We currently have a cash reserve of $30,474. Our net income pre-reinvestment was $141,000 net income. The structure of the affiliate requires that all net income of the affiliate be reinvested into housing programming or for acquiring or redeveloping or developing affordable housing. We made almost $151,000 reinvestment, 120 of which was the rehabilitation of 2 of the 5-bedroom units, and another 30 was to upgrade units that we had currently purchased. We are on track this year to receive just under $300,000 in gross rents, and we would be looking at just over $180,000 in net income that we would be reinvesting at calendar year 2021 for calendar year 20's income.
May I ask a question, Mr. Mayor?
Vice Mayor.
A question. So about the affiliate units, the 31 units, can you explain, are all of them transitional housing?
No.
Or any of them long-term?
We have all of the units are designed to be either transitional or long-term rentals. We currently have 3 of the affiliate units that we are using as transitional housing for individuals for families specifically, for families who are currently homeless. The remainder of the units are rented out on long-term leases. So in additional programming updates, our housing navigator, who is completing her 2nd year on staff, has worked with 300 individuals and families. She has housed 120 families on voucher programs. She has 14 move-ins in progress. One thing that I would like to point out is our housing navigator not only works with voucher participants, but she also works with general public who call in and have questions and need help finding affordable housing. The 120 housed were only people housed with vouchers. Others have been housed that didn't require voucher assistance. We are working with behavioral health to expand our Bridge and our Bridge 2 programming. We are working to bring in another 25 vouchers and $250,000 worth of funding that would, again, supplement the serious mental illness or general mental health housing options that we have. We are also continuing to work and collaborate with Care 7, the Continuum of Care, and neighboring jurisdictions for ways that we would be able to expand the programming of the Housing Authority.
Vice Mayor?
Sorry, another question about the housing navigator. I know she's done such an amazing job. In her first year, I remember you saying, was it 170?
It was 170.
People housed. So when you say that 120 were housed of the 300, that still, you mentioned those are 120 are just vouchers and the others are housed?
120 were just vouchers. The other are either housed with vouchers or they were able to afford the units themselves. They just had a hard time finding affordable units.
Right. So it's more than worked with. In many times it's placed.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
So for the annual PHA plan, as we complete the work on that, we will be providing a description of planned new activities. We are working on establishing the goals to be listed in the 5-year agency plan. However, the needs assessment for the 5-year consolidated plan with CDBG and home identified that affordable housing and homelessness needs were at the top of the priority listing. That is proving to be true as it comes out to the needs assessment for the housing programs. So we are anticipating that the program growth over the next 5 years would be continued. So, and that's all of the information. If you have questions.
Thank you, Levon. Any other questions?
Levon, I've got one question.
Mr. Drummond?
Earlier, you said the Housing Authority priorities move people that have domestic or dating violence history further up the waiting list. I'm just curious, does that need to be documented by a police report or court order to keep people away?
We do not. You can provide a police report or documentation demonstrating that you've been a victim of domestic violence. We also take self-certifications under penalties of perjury.
Oh.
That has been the case. When we bifurcate the voucher and everyone is required to sign new documents, again, we require recertification at that point that A, they will no longer continue living together if that happens to be what the situation is, and that this is something that they are going to certify under penalties if perjury happened.
Okay, that's good. I was concerned that somebody that hasn't already been involved with the police or the courts doesn't have to go to them first. They can just self-certify without going through the extra trouble. That's it.
Okay, any other questions for Lawan? Vice Mayor?
Just thanks for doing such a great job, and I know you're consulting with Tucson on a lot of their housing policies, so thank you for spreading the good word about our practices.
And I want to congratulate Levon and our staff. We had a great interview on KJZZ regarding our strategy for affordable workforce housing. So thank you so much. With that, if there's no further questions, thank you, Levon. With that, is there a motion to adjourn the City of Tempe Housing Authority?
Move.
It's been moved by Mr. Drummond, seconded by Vice Mayor Cubey. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion does carry. The Housing Authority meeting is adjourned. If you give us a couple minutes, we're going to turn the room back around for our formal council meeting, and we'll be back shortly.